Thank you for staying with us. Now, this week, Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja recused herself from the trial of the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. At resumption of his trial, Kanu accused Justice Nyako of disregarding a verdict of the Supreme Court in the case, adding that he no longer had confidence in the judge. Responding to the open accusation, Justice Nyako recused herself from the case and noted that the case file would be forwarded to the Chief Judge of the court for reassignment. Meanwhile, Southeast monarchs have reiterated their call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, citing his detention as a factor leading to insecurity in the region. I still have with me Justice Ujena, of course. Ibrahim Garba is still standing by at our Abuja studio. Now, Justice, this is it's been long coming. Now, there was drama at the hearing of Nnamdi Kanu's trial where he stood and voiced his lack of confidence in the court. He didn't stop there. He also expressed his disharmony in the court in refusing to obey an order of the Supreme Court. Now, what's your assessment of the proceedings so far?
Okay, for me, I think it's a very, very difficult one, and we can see clearly that it was difficult on the defendant, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, and it was also difficult on the side of the judge. It was also difficult on the side of Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer. And that's why, for me too, if it's difficult for all the parties in the case, it's also a very, very difficult one for me. Okay. And that's why, as much as possible, yes, there have been plenty decisions. It's not just the Supreme Court decision. There is a Court of Appeal decision. There are various High Court decisions, especially the ones that order the federal government to actually pay compensation to Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. Okay. But in all of this, Mr. Mark, in all of this, I want to urge the federal government to yield or maybe give more ear to what the governors and the leaders of the Southeast have been saying, that if there is an off-ramp, if there is a way to grant amnesty, of course, while I think they have the bigger picture in front of them. I'm just appealing on the sidelines that can something be done? Is there a way we can maybe give him amnesty and say go and sin no more? Okay,
we'll come back to that, but I have to ask you this quickly. Now, Justice Nyako said she was not willing to continue with the case. In her words, I hereby recuse myself and remit the case file back to the Chief Judge. What does this mean in the law context? Okay,
what it means is that the matter has to commence de novo. Because what was supposed to happen on that day was the trial was supposed to go on. Okay. The trial as remitted back to the High Court by the Supreme Court. It was supposed to go on, but Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, as he has a right to do, actually said that he no longer has confidence in the court. And Justice Nyako also just felt that, okay, since you say you don't have confidence in the court, let me remit the file back to the admin judge. So the admin judge is the judge in charge of that decides where a matter is going to be assigned to. So it is now the admin judge that will have to choose another judge that will be able to sit on the matter. And the matter being, given the nature of the matter itself, I don't have any confidence that any other judge will be able to easily take it on. But again, it is national duty. We cannot have a situation where there is no judge to be able to sit on a judicial question, because the judiciary is an arm of government that must also earn its pay.
So if a new judge takes over this case now, is it going to be, are they going to have to go back to
yes, that was why I said de novo.
It's going to take a longer time again.
Unfortunately, so because he has to now plead to the charge as to whether he's guilty or not, then the court will now have to. Okay. The court may stand on the existing. Well, there's no bail actually, so the court can't even stand on the existing bail. Okay. So the court will have to now choose a fresh date for trial.
All right, Ibrahim Garba, very quickly, it appears the southeastern governors are saying that the holding of Nnamdi Kanu is the reason why insecurity in the Southeast is prevalent. Now, from your point of view, is it that the governors in the Southeast cannot, as a matter of urgency, put together a mechanism to ensure peace in their region? Why are they hinging the peace of the Southeast to the release of Nnamdi Kanu? Are they not supposed to have the priority to safeguard their states as governors elected by the people?
Well, Mark, just like the other, colleagues mentioned in the studio, this thing from me, I look at it differently. The case of Nnamdi Kanu is politically motivated. If you look at how this whole thing started, Nnamdi, in the first place, his claiming leadership of the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra. And as you know, any attempts to, infiltrate or maybe undermine the unity and integrity of any nation, I don't think the nation on its own will stand by idly for people to take laws in their hands. So that is why, this case, there is a lot of back and forth on this issue. Well, if you look at the charges, about 15 which was, brought before him, Justice Binta Nyako amended it, and there were a 7-count charge against Nnamdi Kanu. But for me personally, I look at these issues as something that can be, resolved. What do I mean? Nnamdi Kanu at this point has not owned up to say, okay, what I did actually in the context of it all is wrong. And at the same time, the Southeast governors, they are playing hide and seek. They are not united in the common front to pursue this matter in a way that it can be resolved politically, because it's a state offense. And for Justice Binta Nyako to recuse herself from this case shows that she's under pressure to take a decision. And remember, Nnamdi Kanu was still, on bench warrant when he was, arrested and brought back to Nigeria because he jumped bail. So it is, pertinent on the federal government and at the same time the Southeast governor to sit down round table and find a political situation around this. Otherwise, this case, I think it could lead to something else, and it could still lead to this breakdown of law and order in the Southeast.
All right. Now, before we ride off from this topic, in a few seconds, what's your advice? Quickly.
The federal government should maybe have a more
concrete plan.
More concrete meetings, actually, with all the stakeholders, including Nnamdi Kanu himself. Okay. And they should just cut a deal so that we'll have this in the rearview mirror.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you very much. All right, moving on to our next story. The federal government suspended some senior officers of the Nigerian Correctional Service, NCOS, over bribery